I accidentally hit the choke switch on this plane and had to dead stick it into a muddy field. I was just finishing these repairs when I got some emails about wheels falling off, and it occurred to me that this damage was a whole lot like when you land without one of the wheels on the plane. These are some of the bigger pieces that came off of the plane when I rolled the gear out of it. And this is very similar to what can happen when you land without a wheel. So once again I screw up and you get another how-to story based on my real-world experience. When this is all that's left on one side of the landing gear, things are going to get really bad when you land. I'm putting new axles in this landing gear, so we're going to show you how we do it to keep the wheels on the plane. Life is just so much better when you land on round things. The first thing you do is look to see where the inside wheel collar has to go. We just want to be sure that it's not letting the wheel rub against the landing gear or something else on the plane. Once we know this position, we can get started. I know I'm going to put the wheel collars on with the set screws pointed up, so we're going to color a line on the top of the axle with a marker. The set screw is just touching the axle and I move it back and forth to make a mark in that coloring we just did. This will tell us where that dimple needs to be for this set screw. Getting these dimples in the right places means a lot for getting these wheels to go on right. Now I can grind that little dimple in the right place. And I do mean little. We don't need a very deep dimple. All we need is a deep enough dimple to catch that set screw. Go too deep and we weaken the axle and can make enough space for the set screw to actually fall out. I put some blue Loctite thread locker on the set screw. I rock the collar back and forth just a little bit as I'm tightening the set screw to make sure that I'm in the dimple. Now I can tighten it down good and it's not going to go anywhere. I've already rocked the outside collar back and forth to mark the place for the dimple. Now while everything's assembled, I want to mark the end of the outside collar so I know where I can cut this axle off. Now I can grind the outside dimple, again being sure I don't go too deep. After grinding the dimple, I can go ahead and cut this little bit of axle off. I didn't really need to cut this little bit off of this axle, but I wanted to show it because usually I have longer axles and I cut off the excess. And remember to grind the end of the axle to get rid of any burrs. That just makes it a lot easier getting everything put back together. With the little Loctite on the set screw for the outer collar, I can assemble that and make sure that the wheel turns freely. This was like 15 minutes worth of work, but it can sure save a whole lot of repair time when my wheels don't fall off. I'd rather see if I can break my plane in the air. I already know I can kill it on the ground.